Okay, now remember that this can be called molar mass, or it can be gram formula mass, or molecular weight. It's going to all be the same thing. You're still on page 31 of your INB notebook. Okay, so now let's take another compound. Let's do something like with charges, like let's do strontium, and let's do phosphate. So the 3 goes here, and the 2 goes over here, correct? Okay, now your main objective is to figure out how many atoms of each element you have first. That way you can use your periodic table to then add up all of your weights, okay? Let's unplug, guys. Let's unplug and pay attention. This is super easy. Okay, so strontium, how many strontiums do we have? You have 3. Phosphorus, how many phosphorus do you have?
2.
Yep, because the 2 on the outside multiplies to everything on the inside, correct? Oxygen, you have 8 oxygen. Very good, because 2 times 4 gives you that 8. Now, once you know how many atoms you have of each thing, you're going to get the weight off of your periodic table. So strontium weighs how much? Look at your periodic table.
162.
Okay, so let's round that off.
88.
88, very good. Okay, now phosphorus weighs how much?
31.
31. Okay. Oxygen weighs how much? Go ahead and round it off.
16.
16. So now you're going to get your calculator and you're going to multiply 3 times 88. How much is that? 274? Okay. All right, now phosphorus is 2 times 31. How much is that? Yep. Oxygen is 8 times 16. Mijo, stop playing around and pay attention. This is super easy, but you need to focus. Okay? All right, so 8 times 16 is how much? 128. Okay, so now the last thing you're going to do is you're going to add up all of your weights. So 274 plus your 62 plus 128. How much is my total? 8 and 2 is 10, plus 4 is 14, right?
Yeah.
16. And then 2, 3, 4. 464. This is your grams per mole. Okay? It's pretty easy. Yes. And this is how you're adding everything up. Yeah, like some things you're going to add up, some things you might have to multiply first before you add up, right? Let's do another one. So if I give you something easy like this, you got it, right, Nathaniel? Huh? We need one to survive. Okay.
If it's not parentheses, then would that be like weights to be timed?
Very good. If you don't have parentheses, this means I have 1 magnesium and I have only 2 chlorine. So that 2 is only for chlorine, right? Magnesium weighs how much?
24.
Yep. Chlorine weighs how much?
34. 5.
Okay. So now 24 plus 2 times 35? 70. Very good. What is 94 grams per mole? Okay, very good. All right, let's do something that's a bigger compound. Like, let's see. Oh, you know what we did earlier? Remember the flame test lab? We did copper sulfate,
We didn't do that.
pentahydrate. The flame test when we used the Q-tips and we put it through the flame.
Miss, why didn't we do what everybody else did?
Hold on. getting off task. Okay, now in this particular case, you basically have two compounds together. Now in math, what does the dot usually mean?
Multiply.
Very good. In your math class, it usually means to multiply. In here, it does not. You're basically adding both compounds together, and I'm going to tell you why. This is an aqueous solution. This is a solid. This is a liquid. You mix it up, okay? Like when you have a Kool-Aid powder or lemonade and you put it in your water bottle and you mix it, did it multiply anything? No, you're just combining a solid and a liquid, correct? Speaking of liquids, I need my liquids, yes. Okay, so you're basically getting your copper, you have your sulfur, and you have your oxygen. Now, how many coppers do I have here? One. Sulfur? One. Oxygen? Four. Now, I have 5 waters, so that hydrogen, remember 5 times 2 is 10. And then I have another oxygen, and I have 5. Because remember that functions like a coefficient. Remember a number in front always multiplies to everything inside that compound, just as if you had parentheses and the number was on the outside. Okay? So now you're going to do the weights. Copper weighs 64. Sulfur weighs 32. Oxygen weighs 16. Hydrogen weighs 1. And oxygen weighs 16. Okay? Okay. So now 5 times 16 is 80. 10 and 1 is 10. 4 times 16 is 64. 1 and 32 is 32. And then you have 64. So now remember that once you have the total, 64, 32, 64, 10, and 80, that's 250. 249. Double check me. Yeah. Double check me. Yes. 64 plus 32 plus 64 plus 10 plus 80. It's 250, right? There we go. Okay, so this is your molar mass. But you see how we still did it just like the other ones? Okay? Yes, are we all good?
Yes.
Okay, you're going to do both sides. You must show your work to get credit on the worksheet, young lady. It's up there like always, okay? You must show your work. Make sure you block off your total just to make sure that we know where you are. We're going to grade it. So once you're done, you're going to bring it up to my desk. We got it? Do we need another example?
No.
Okay.